Record to the cloud. Yeah, okay, we're recording now.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Lou, you're looking at your chin. You have that certain halo glow about you.
Yeah.
That is a nice mask, by the way. That's really sporting.
Like yellow jackets.
I love it. It's sort of like the rule of boxer shorts, where you print stuff on boxer shorts that you would definitely never want in your pants. And having yellow jackets on your face, it follows that same sort of rule. You know, people have boxer shorts with, people have boxer shorts with like lobsters on them and stuff.
To Decatur Makers. So welcome to Decatur Makers. This is our makerspace. I don't know if you guys can see it, but we're going to walk around it. We're going to have Sherry over here. Say hi, Sherry.
Hi.
It's going to be our audience member in situ, as you might say. And let me make sure that is, and this is Dioria, who's our executive director.
Why, hello there.
And she's going to answer any questions that might come up, or at least let me know what they are so that we can make sure you have questions. This tour is much more fun if you ask lots and lots of questions, including irrelevant, potentially dangerous questions. Speaking of potentially dangerous, this is our Flammables Cabinet. It's full of things that start fire. Decatur Makers has acetone. We have purple primer and lighter fluid, as well as compressed gases and all kinds of other things.
It looks like Kevin's been in there cleaning.
I know, that's a clean finals. That's definitely the cleanest the Flammables Cabinet has ever been. We do it a controlled burn. It's much better now.
Actually, I've been drinking it a little bit.
Well, I'm going to tell
Kevin,
you.
there's no wrong way to do it.
I'm going to tell you a little bit about the makerspace and ask lots of questions. We're going to see if we can ask, in particular, if you see something, say something. That means that if you see something like, what the hell is that? Or where is, what's going on over there? Do we have anyone online? Maybe you can just jump in on the chat if you've never been to Decatur Makers before, and we'd be interested in how you heard about us. But I know there's some folks on the chat who are members of Decatur Makers, and they're just kind of curious what the heck has been going on in my makerspace for the last month or two when I haven't been able to come check it out. So we're going to satisfy both of those audiences tonight. My name is Lou Lefton. I'm one of the founders of the makerspace, and just a little bit of a history here. Let's step outside for a minute, huh?
Let's. I'm here for you, Lou.
In case you're wondering, we are at 605 West Ponce. We are located here. This is our lovely sign. And we are located outside the First Christian Church of Decatur, which is this right across from the post office on Ponce. Everybody knows where that is. I expect if not, you can find it pretty easily. And oh my gosh, look at that, we've got parking. That's one of the cool things about this place, free parking. So when you come in, here's your view. As you come in the makerspace, you're going to see, you walk into the little break room area here. This has
You're shooting a little high there.
A little high?
Yeah.
A little low. How's that?
There we go.
We're going to follow Sherry around. The break room is one of the areas in the makerspace that has a place where our makers can get a cup of coffee and put some stuff in the refrigerator. It's also a place where you can, as a new member or as a guest, you can sign your liability releases and your project forms. This building was an old basketball gym, and what happened in 2014 when we first walked in the doors, it was a mess. The First Christian Church that you saw across the parking lot there is actually our landlord. We have a 5-year lease on this building. It's a 3,000 square foot, roughly like 40 by 80 building. And we pay $1 a year. I know, shocking, right? $1 a year. We're walking distance to MARTA, to Taqueria, to, we've got a pub and a coffee shop. We've got Indian food and burgers. free parking. How did we get such a deal in downtown Decatur? And the reason was when we walked into this building 5+ years ago, actually 6+ years ago, we what we saw was a place that was falling apart. Honestly, the roof here was leaking, the walls were moldy, the place was flooding. And what we actually did was take this makerspace. This was an old basketball game. In fact, you can see here the floors are these terrazzo floors where there's a built-in inlaid marble terrazzo basketball court. The free throw line is in the wood shop. And we said, well, we're looking for a makerspace. The church said, well, we've got this building that's kind of falling down and we really can't do anything with it because we can't even bring it up to a place where we can rent it. And we said, perfect, we'll take it. And so $1 a year was our lease. The church has generously renewed that lease for another 5 years.
Hey.
So we are in a super great position. We raised about over $200,000 in the first year or so from 2014, 2015 into 2016 when we opened. And that money went to paying for a new roof. We completely replaced the roof here. I don't know how this is looking.
It's looking great, Lou.
The roof, as you can see, there's some new fiberglass tiles over there. Those fiberglass decking was completely destroyed, so that's new. If you look further, you'll see there are other places on the roof where there's some, some stains. That we put a new roof over the whole thing. We put in LED lights. We put in 5 tons, or actually 10 tons of HVAC. We put in 400 watts of power. We basically took the building and stripped it down and rebuilt it as a makerspace. We added a wood shop, which I'll show you, an electronics shop. We put in a giant roll-up door, so giant projects like the Venus up there and the giant lanterns can be moved in and out easily. Let me show you one of our first little areas here. This is all perfect. I don't know if it's going to come on or not.
You can turn it on and come back.
Yeah, so we're a radio station. Not broadcast radio, but amateur radio. W4BSE, Build, Share, Explore. That's our core values. And what we have here is a place where amateur radio folks can use the Decatur Makers equipment and antennas to contact people all over the world. We'll come back to see if this particular demonstration about the Flight Aware is available. We are also a biolab. We have a group of makers who was interested in science. We have a lot of makers who are interested in science. And this area over here is our Irmwell Open the Door. There's the secret. You use a piece of metal that's got a very specific shape and you stick it in a very specified hole. And that's how the door opens. Our biolab here, as you can see, I'm walking backwards with a laptop, which is not a safe activity, but she's the executive director.
It's clean in here.
It's so clean. Oh my God, Chris Monaco, if you are online, look at how clean your lab is. It's never been this clean. We're doing a lot of COVID-19 research in here. We've got a lot of live virus. No, that's a lie. That's not true. We have a thermocycler. We have a freezer and a steam sterilizer. We've got a lot of, we do a polymerase chain reaction. Is that right, Chris?
That's correct. And Lou, I might want to point out, that may be one of the last inactive thermocyclers in the state right now. I think everything else is running tests.
The nice thing about Makers is we got a thermocycler. You know what? It would be great if we had a place. Here, I'll build a drawer. That's what happens in makerspaces. They will just make it better. This lab is an actually functioning lab. We've got obviously pipettes and centrifuges. We've got places for people to look on different projects that they might have seen online. We've had homeschool kids come in and use the lab for various experiments. So we have an active sort of biohackers group. They normally meet about once a month, and we have all the professional protective equipment. We've got lab coats and eye washers and first aid kits and and so forth. So we do have a functioning lab. If you like science, come to Decatur Makers and you'll find folks who you can do science with.
We have a quick question from
Okay.
the audience. Great mask, Lou. Did Rachel Bloom make that?
Oh my gosh, she did. Rachel Bloom, a Georgia Tech student, made this mask. And thank you again to the Bloom family, to all the Blooms.
Thank you, Blooms. My mask was made by Chrissy Weeks. And it's worn extremely well. So thank you, Chrissy. Shout out.
Yes. This is our Going, Going, Gone shelf. It's dangerously low now. So please bring in lots and lots of junk. Kevin loves that.
No.
Sometimes when a project goes south, you end up putting pieces of it on this shelf. Everything on the shelf is free. You're welcome to take some if you want, Sherry. I see you looking.
Go ahead, Sherry. Take a parting gift.
Skateboard things or whatever they are.
Oh yeah.
Take a parting gift.
You need those. The bathroom, which was here when this was a basketball gym, is we have it a unisex thinking room here.
Mm-hmm.
It is, like most bathrooms, has a large organ in it, an actual Hammond organ. So this is our unisex bathroom. It's very roomy and very bathy.
Lovely.
The other bathroom that was here when this was a gym, of course, is what we turned into the break room. Over here, we've got our textiles area. This is where the fabric artists and the textiles folks work. There's a lot of sewing machines. We have embroidery machines. We have sergers. We have fabric samples. We have a number of other devices here that you can use to stitch fabric together, rip it apart, including an industrial strength sewing machine, which you can sort of see over here onto that green slab. That's a Singer industrial sewing machine. It goes about 6 times faster than your average sewing machine. It can go through leather, it can go through thin leather, canvas. You could probably make a purse or probably make a pair of sandals, all kinds of different activities there. And so like some of our other more powerful equipment, that one requires a little bit of training. Our membership, as I mentioned before, we've got over 300 members. And the nice thing about that is that many of our members have persisted and continued to support us. And we really, really thank you. Thank you for all that help that you've done to us to keep us going in these last couple of months. Some of our members pay a little more than the standard $30 a month. It's only $30 a month, folks, to get 24/7 access to this space. If you pay a little more, you get a membership that includes storage, like these yellow and black boxes here. Is this coming out? No,
Yep, you're good. You're you're pointing a little high.
All right,
You're good. Perfect. Perfect.
We have some drying racks. This is let me take you over to see the 3D printers. On the way there, we'll look at arts and crafts because we got popsicle sticks and all kinds of. Oh my gosh, it's labeled now. There's assorted items in this box. Finally, I know what's there.
Assorted fun items.
Assorted fun items.
Hey, is there a box on that cart that doesn't have any nails in it? Somewhere.
We've got,
see if you can find the box that says not nails.
Not nails. Not nails, I believe, includes hole punches, scissors, crayons, Sharpies, X-Acto knives, chalk, paint, all kinds of stuff, wire, string, and even marbles.
That's where they are, Lou.
If you've lost them, we found them. Here's our 3D printer. It's good to see all this activity going on, and you might recognize, some of you who have been involved in the Atlanta Beats COVID activity, that these 3D printers are printing face shield frames.
Look at that.
Something else, which I don't think is a face shield frame, maybe for a weird animal.
Kevin, are those your prints?
Yeah, that's a one-way valve for the new laser.
A one-way valve, excellent. Thank you, Kevin, for keeping our laser fumes outside. So we have.
Oh, it's supposed to go outside?
And people often ask, so who pays for the filament? And the answer is, Decatur Makers pays for the filament. And by that, I mean the community buys the filament, and we also provide a certain amount of filament. But like many of the consumable items here in the makerspace, your $30 a month actually covers some basic prototyping, designing, and hacking. So if you just want to 3D print something, you don't have to weigh it afterwards and pay us 17 cents for the filament. you can go ahead and use the 3D printers. Now, of course, you're stuck with what other filament we have. Right now, we don't have a whole bunch because things have been pretty busy with the Atlanta beats COVID, and we'll get to that in a minute. But we do have plenty of 3D printers. We have classes on these printers. You can learn how to use them. You can then schedule them or just make jobs for them. Online there, Herm?
Nothing new. Not yet.
All right. Over here, we've got some of our metalworking. This is only part of our.
Lou, pan back to the 3D printers for a second. What's that? It looks like there's a shelf sticking out from the.
There is.
Oh my God, that's new.
That is new.
Wow, I'm blown away. That's amazing. Thanks. Wow.
Chris, I made that 3 months ago. Got to stay with us.
And by 3 months ago, you mean last week.
And it's still attached.
Yeah. Here's how it's attached, because everybody wants to know.
Well done.
All right. We also have this little shelf here, 3D printed. This is another kind of, I love these little maker details. It's like, I need a place to put the
Scrapers.
the scrapers and the clippers and the glue sticks. I'll just 3D print one.
Yeah, one of our interns actually designed that and made it.
That's awesome. Right?
This is a metal lathe. You can, if you just can't get to the hardware store because there might be, I don't know, pandemic, and you need a 1/4-inch threaded screw, you can make a screw on that thing. Of course, you'd have to come here, and we're closed right now, so that's not happening. There's grinders, there's clamps, there's all kinds of metalworking here in this corner. And as you go outside, and we'll step outside in a minute, you'll also see we have a welding curtain here. There's a welder, that's Arm. And we have, oh my gosh, a giant wood lathe. We'll be giving this away later tonight. Very shortly, those of you who have signed up on the web form, and if you haven't, check your Dictator Makers members email. We're giving this one away. We do have a lot of metalworking that happens outside. You can see the welding curtain there. You can see the metal bandsaw. We've got a MIG welder, a TIG welder, a plasma cutter. We've got a forge and an anvil for those who have the blacksmith gene. We've got some scrap metal there. Again, just like the 3D printer filament, the welding gas is included along with the saw blades and the drill bits in the wood shop, along with the solder in the electronics shop. We don't charge for agar in the biolab or thread on the bobbin or hot glue for the crafters. That's all part of the membership.
What a deal.
It is such a deal. For 30 bucks a month, you have a 3,000 square foot workshop with all these cool tools. And we haven't even gotten to half of them yet.
But hold on, there's more.
There is more. And I should point out that the Makerspace is, although closed, active. And you can sort of see here, these tables are set up with various cutting jigs and assembly spaces for 3D printed frames that are all going out as PPE for first responders and healthcare providers in the Atlanta area and beyond.
This one.
Yes. Actually, these here in front of us are molded frames right here. And then we're also doing a Wisconsin shield, which is foam and elastic over in these bags over here. That's them.
Yeah. So you can see that Decatur Makers has been a critical part of the Atlanta Beats COVID activity. And we're partnering with Roswell Fire Labs, with GeekSpace Gwinnett, with the Maker Station in Marietta, with, who else am I forgetting?
Oh, we've got lots of sponsors and partners, but those are our maker spaces that have been working and collaborating together.
So people,
What's that giant black thing back there? Is that dude's subwoofer still there?
Yep.
that's a giant subwoofer, Chris. And now I'd like to do mine of a giant subwoofer.
I like that it makes noise.
It's not clear that it makes noise. It's sitting on a table right now. So over here in this corner, we have a vinyl cutter. This will take sheets of vinyl and cut them into various things. For example, if you wanted a square,
Go figure.
you would cut a square of vinyl. That would be a boring sticker. But if you had in fact cut out somebody's face or a cool map or any other digital design, you could actually cut them on this. It's like basically a plotter that has an X-Acto knife in it, more or less a sharp blade. And you cut out all kinds of material. We often use this for glass etching because you can cut out a stencil and then get yourself some thrift store glass. Do not touch, because girls who code project will be using this at some point. You have a girl.
Absolutely.
Next semester.
Next semester.
So Lou,
2021.
You use some Martha Stewart etching fluid or other hydrofluoric acid type of material, or perhaps a sandblaster from the wonderful Cindy Williams.
you know, it's funny you should mention, I actually have a glass right here that I didn't etch, but I could take it down to Decatur Makers and put something clever on it.
That's right. Absolutely right, Chris. And now we're going to go into the Chris mirror.
There's Maureen.
Ah!
All right.
What's that? Where? What? Who? I was looking up a picture of my glass etching.
We have a little library here.
Oh yeah, share your
A library.
glass.
We have a planer. I'll show you a much larger planer in the wood shop, but this planer is on a little rolling cart for people that need to make wood smoother and flatter. You send a board through it and it'll plane it for you nice and automatically. And that brings us to one of the most exciting pieces of our tool chain here at Decatur Makers, the Glowforge. This is a 45-watt CO2 laser. And somebody's obviously been cutting on.
Who could that be?
Hey,
And we're getting some acrylic cut here into small little
Tabs.
tabs, along with some pennies that are weighing it down. This is a laser cutter, and what's this? Is this another laser cutter?
It is.
We have a second laser cutter, people.
We have a second laser cutter.
it had a baby.
2 laser cutters.
Not just one.
Laser eyes. Laser eye cutter.
Laser eyes. So laser cutter, of course, does emanate fumes, so we have to be careful about making sure that that you don't let out the fumes to the outside unless they are. So when the laser cutter is on, you got to make sure that vent is open. Laser cutters are really cool tools. They're really easy to use. This is one of our most popular tools. It's one of the few tools that you actually have to schedule. While I'm here, I will point out our Founders Wall, which you can sort of see here as this has got a list that when I talked about us raising hundreds of thousands of dollars in the course of a couple of years, these are the folks and the organizations that helped us get there, that helped us get from a broken down building to a functioning makerspace. So we really appreciate them. We've got the electronics shop next. This one is quite an interesting place as well. You've got here all kinds of different tools to do electronics work. You can see a circuit on the blackboard there. Sorry about that.
Careful. Watch behind you. Drone. Yeah. Drone on the ground.
Drone on the ground. Now, careful. Don't step on the drone. We've got lots of parts cabinets. We've got really good soldering irons and magnification lights and some great power supplies and multimeters and wire clippers and so forth. All of these electronics benches that you see around here, including the high-end test equipment, some of which is in that cabinet, as well as a lot of the other pieces, they came from a plant up in a Honeywell plant that closed down up near Norcross, or Cambly or somewhere, and they were throwing all this out. So we took all of this and said, we can definitely use this. This was when our makerspace was just getting started. As you look, so we got these wire racks, we've got all kinds of other sorts of activities going on here. When you look up a little higher, you see the more unusual equipment. heat kit variable AC power supplies and tube testers. You see all kinds of unusual things here. These actually did not come from Honeywell's production electronics shop. They came from Bob. Bob's picture is up on the wall over there. I don't know if you can see it. But Bob was a maker and a bit of a hoarder. And when Bob passed away, his wife Carol contacted us and said, I've got a basement full of stuff and I don't want to just throw it all away, because that was sort of Bob's passion. And she found a kindred community. We helped her clean out the basement. We sold a bunch of stuff. We kept the best things. We gave her the proceeds. We gave stuff to other maker spaces. So we can thank Bob for some of the more unusual equipment that you see here on the upper shelves, including a lot of equipment that has been used in the film industry for props. One of our makers, Pablo Stewart Harris, has worked on a number of shows, which I'm not allowed to talk about, Stranger Things, and he's used a number of these props as period pieces for the burgeoning film industry. On the back wall, you see a couple of handmade speakers. One of the classes that we've had in the past, and I'm sure we'll continue to have after we reopen, which will be soon, I'm hoping, is how to make your own speaker. You take some MDF, you actually put the speakers that you get from maybe an old thrift store purchase, and really Georgia Tech educated professional electrical engineers like Bill Sandage and great musicians like Chris Good will come and help you build those speakers and create an amazing sound in your own home, which you're stuck in. So you might as well have good music. Any questions yet, Herm?
Surely someone can ask a question, but I don't see any written in the notes.
That's
in
okay.
the chat.
We're going to keep going out of these.
Well, let's ask Sherry.
Sherry, do you have any questions?
What kinds of things do you like to make?
I came here. Well, I like to make all kinds of stuff, but I came here to see this glow board. You look up one time online, and then every day it keeps popping up on my thing, and I keep getting more and more excited.
Well, yeah, it's people have made gifts out of it. They've turned it into a business where they cut things on the glow board and sell them. Mm-hmm. There's been people who have done some amazing artwork on there, and also just some utilitarian things like they need them for their kitchen or whatever.
Right.
Very cool.
Very handy.
Hi, Sherry. Is Sherry a prospective member?
Yes.
Oh,
Even
cool.
during a pandemic, container makers attracts cool people like Sherry.
We're always happy to have another woman maker along, aren't we, Maureen?
Sure, absolutely.
Should we come into the wood shop?
Let's go into the wood shop.
Come on in.
So we have a lot
And
of
mail.
here. You can sort of see we do provide some materials for the wood shop as well, although a lot of people will buy their own wood. It's a pretty well equipped wood shop. We've got a floor standing drill press, we've got a bandsaw, a belt sander, there's a table saw over here called a saw stop. There's a jointer and a planer, and there's a miter saw, and our big CNC. That's a CNC that we actually built many years ago when Makerspace started. Trevor Taylor he said, I want to join your Makerspace if you'll let me build the CNC. And we said, sure. Took us about 2 years. And the good thing about it is when you build your own CNC, if it breaks, you can fix it because you're the one that made it. All the electronics were made in the e-shop here. Obviously the 80/20 rails were purchased and we sent this thing out for powder coating, but all the welding and all the design and cutting, this was all made here at Decatur Makers. And we use V-Card, which is, we have a Makerspace license for V-Card, so you can take it home and do all your digital designs. And then the CNC stands for computer numerically controlled, so this will attach a router here, and you'll actually cut out whatever you want, whatever the computer tells you. So it's sort of a computer-powered cutting machine. All right.
Yes.
Cool.
Hey, Lou.
Hey, Chris.
Just pan back to the CNC just for a moment, if you would. Oh, thanks. I miss that thing. Okay.
Chris has made a number of electric guitars on the CNC, which he has then performed on stage. Yes, it's true.
Wow.
People have made very cool designs for bookshelves. We've made all kinds of other pieces, even some of the laser cutting for the Atlanta Beats COVID.
I was just going to pull that up. Yep. So the intubation boxes were cut on the CNC, thanks to Kevin's help and Lee Witcher's design. So these were cut. I think these might be extras or mistakes, but there were 6 that were dropped off at Emory. Feels like it was 2 months ago, but it was probably just 2 weeks ago. And as soon as they were dropped off, they went into the operating room. So very cool.
The saw stop is worth mentioning briefly. We have a table saw, but it's actually a special type of table saw called the saw stop that we actually have a capacitive blade on here. So when the saw stop blade comes in contact with anything that conducts electricity, there's an aluminum brake that actually smashes into it. You can sort of see some up on the wall here where the saw stop brakes have actually activated the blades and they stop the blade. Of course, that prevents you from cutting yourself. It's a very safe table saw in that respect. It also can be activated by a staple that you left at the end of a Home Depot 2x4 or glue that you didn't let dry completely, wet wood, a nail. So there's a number of other, this is our wall of
safety.
The wall of safety.
Let's keep it positive, shall we?
Yes, it's a wall of safety. The wood shop, oh my gosh, Kevin has been the busiest little, Kevin. Look at all these clamps. Look at this amazing display of clamps in the shop now. We have all kinds of things going on here, and Kevin has done a great job as somebody's still working on a project even here. Any idea what this is?
I'm guessing Kevin might know.
Well, I know. I was just wondering if there were other guesses.
Multi Kleenex box holder.
Oh, it's a multi Kleenex box holder. That's correct. For really sad movies.
When you need 4 boxes of tissues.
These are like Meryl Streep double features. What is it, Kevin? Tell us the truth.
It's a glove box holder, so very similar.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
You had it. I think you totally had it, Sherry.
This is your space, Sherry. This is your community.
I can't wait to make a sofa table and all this stuff I'm figuring out.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you our dust collection here or not. Let me take a peek.
Oh yeah, open that up.
You can see our dust collection system here is, it was built with very thick walls, and we can turn this on, and then it will be connected to all of the tools in the wood shop that generate dust, which would be all of the tools in the wood shop. So you can then turn these blast gates on, and now...
Shut the front door.
So this way you can, when you're running, you try to keep the dust. All right.
So that was 4.
There's also a hand workbench here. Another donation from another maker or a widower, or perhaps
A widower? No, I think he's healthy. He just moved.
He moved.
Moved out of town.
Okay.
Moved onto a boat.
You know, his wife was a woodworker and he gave us this. I don't remember. I don't keep track of these things. We get all kinds of things coming through the doors. But if you want to use chisels and clamps and hand tools, and not just electronic and power tools, we have plenty of power tools here and plenty of hand tools. So the wood shop is fully operational. All we need are some opportunities for the makers to come back, and we're all waiting for that. There's a little view of some of our. Again, we mentioned the hardware, the saw blades, the bobbin thread, the solder, etc. The 3D printer filament is all covered, as is most of the basic materials. So this is not a full hardware store, but you know, we have plenty of paint, and we have, you know, you might need springs here. There you got some springs. This bird opening. So that's kind of the first floor of Decatur Makers here. And we can go upstairs in a minute and take a peek outside if you guys want to continue the tour.
Heck yeah.
Do we want to talk about our workbench areas too?
Yes.
That is they're covered with important projects right now, but we do have burgeoning workspace
Yes.
for makers.
So lots of open table space and a culture that says you clean up after yourself. Kevin, don't comment on that. We have plenty of space for people to come in, work on projects. If you, during normal operating hours, once we come back open and we get past this particular moment in time, you'll see dozens, if not more people in the space, kids as well as adults. I should point out that we're one of the more, we really have a commitment to diversity in our maker space. We really want to be extra welcoming to women makers, to makers of color, LGBT makers. We have makers of different religions. We have makers of different political persuasions. We have makers with different abilities. We have makers of different ages. We have makers of different skill levels. Some people who are experts who have done this professionally, and some people who are just starting out. So that commitment to diversity is really important to us as a makerspace. And so we just want everybody to know that you are welcome here.
Here, here.
Here, here. We can take a quick peek outside, then we'll go upstairs, and then we'll be done. We're almost done, folks. We're almost done.
We're at 47%.
All right, no problem. This is a concrete slab. It's made out of Portland cement and sand, basically, as far as I know.
Well, we're very excited about it as it's the newest addition to our makerspace.
Yes, this wall was built by the makers. This shed was assembled. That's where our welding equipment is. You can see our forge and our anvil there. See, it's a beautiful day. This giant roll-up door was something we...
Wait, how do you open that shed?
Is it heavy? You don't mind just popping it in there. Thank you. We built a little free pantry for the First Christian Church, which is now up right there at the corner of the parking lot. And it appears that people have dropped off some food to put into the little free pantry.
Awesome.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Right?
Good work.
Nice.
So let's take a quick walk upstairs. You come down here, some of the larger projects that we've worked on. We've got our lanterns. Are we going to do this for the lantern parade?
We missed it already.
Oh, okay. We've got some paper on the wall.
We were going to. And Bill wasn't ready to commit.
That's all right. Next year. When we built out the wood shop and the electronic shop below us, it created this space above us. And so this is now another area where people can do projects and have meetings. I see there's a broken 3D printer here, or maybe that's a working 3D printer. I can't tell.
Works great.
Got some nice carpeting going on down here. What's this?
Oh, nice carpeting, Kevin.
That's new.
Yeah, that was Paul actually put that in there. Paul Ogley.
We've got ourselves.
Thanks, Paul Augie.
What is it, Kevin?
Paul, one of our members put this in.
Thank you, Paul. We are a duocracy. If you want to see something done in your workshop, just do it after you check with Erm and Kevin. Unless it's small and a clear improvement, in which case I would just do it and don't worry about it.
Sounds good.
Here's another little area. This area was formed along with the other storage areas back here when we had this space built up. They said, "Oh, it's a commercial building. You have to have 7-foot high ceilings." So they built these walls up. We were thinking of using this whole area. So after the contractors left, we took the walls down. Whoops! Oops!
Oh, right.
That didn't happen.
Nope.
Somebody took the walls
We're going to
down.
fix that in post.
Yeah. But this area is used for the robotics teams, for the high school and the middle schoolers come up here. Again, as I mentioned, we're a diverse makerspace. We want to have kids as well as adults. We do a lot of STEM education and programming with teachers, as well as entrepreneurs who come and start businesses, and as well as just community outreach to all kinds of people who we think we might have a connection to. Now, this is our 3D scanner. There's a little turntable here. You can sort of see, hard to see right now, but this thing turns, and that will be a place you would stand. We've had this out at the Decatur Arts Festival. You stand on that, you strike a pose, you get rotated at about 2 RPM for 90 seconds. And in the meantime, this linear drive screw rotates based on this pulley, and a Microsoft Kinect gets attached here. As it moves up, you get scanned. And then we have a digital copy of you that we can 3D print you.
Oh,
I know.
I need that.
You need a 3D printed copy of Sherry.
Of course I do.
We can do that. We can do that here at Decatur Makers.
Oh my god. I mean, like, really though, for like sewing and stuff, you could like make yourself.
That's true. Well, these would be typically smaller. Well, they are large. If you had a big enough 3D printer, that would be, 6 feet high.
You do silk screening too?
You do. We have a silk screening.
Four color silk screen.
Four color. I don't know where it is. We have a dry mount press there as well. If you're going to put stuff on foam core. I don't know where the silk screen machine is.
It's here.
It's here. We've also used this area for video, for vlogging and live streaming of interviews on YouTube. We have folks who know a lot about media production that teach classes. That's the cool thing about Decatur Makers is that you can, we offer classes and you can also teach a class. Even if you're not a member, you can teach a class. If you are a member, you can take a class at a discount, but we also offer all the classes on meetup.com for other members and non-members alike. I'm surely forgetting something, or what am I forgetting?
Well, let's just point out again, it's our community that really makes this. So we're just, Kevin and I are here just to support and enable our community to come out and have them do their thing. And people always talk about coming in and starting a project, and all of a sudden someone walks by and says, hey, have you thought about this? And all of a sudden, like Maureen Haley, she starts off coding, and next thing you know, she's in the wood shop, and then she's laser cutting, and she's putting it all together for some cool project. So that's the magic that happens here at Decatur Makers.
I have a question.
Sure.
So you had mentioned earlier that there are a few items that you need to reserve in order to be able to use. But the other stuff that you don't, is it kind of first come, first serve? Just use it or wait for somebody to get done with it in order to be able to use it, or how does that work?
So there are tools that are a little bit more popular, like the laser cutter, but even that, people come in and use it. If you're going to be using it for long periods of time, then you can go ahead and schedule it or reserve it. People help by letting you pop in if you have a project, if you're taking turns, for example, on the laser cutter. So if you're taking turns, you can just let someone kind of come in and print something else out. Generally speaking, we haven't gotten to the point where it's been that crazy with people waiting for equipment. People come in here 24 hours a day. So you'll see a group coming in at 3 in the afternoon or 3 in the morning.
Yeah. And if you haven't learned to use a tool, then we have a Slack channel and an email list so you can communicate with other members. And they can, you can say, hey, I want to use the table saw, and I've never used it before. Oh, I'll meet you at the space. I'm going to be there on Sunday at 2 o'clock. And so you can absolutely, in addition to having classes, which we have on how to use the tools, we also have the ability for just sort of pop-up training, and people teach each other. Our core values, I can't believe I haven't said this yet, are build, share, and explore. And I'll close with this. So those things are really just what we want to see in the world. We want to see building. We want to see people making stuff. That could be digital things online. We have kids that build Minecraft. We have adults that design furniture. Share is about teaching and learning. That's what I was referring to, where people help each other out a lot. And that means they let you in if you need to do a quick cut on the table saw while they're working on a project. And for the most part, even though we have over 300 members, the space doesn't get so crowded that people can't use it, because everybody's doing different stuff. You might be using the 3D printer, but she's using the cutter. And then explore is really about the freedom to be creative. It's about having not to have to answer the question, why are you doing that? What's it good for? You could just be taking apart that toaster because you're curious about how it works. You could be painting that thing because you're just done and you just feel like painting. You want to have the joy of creation, you might throw it away later. Nobody's judging that. So exploration opens it up for people to do discovery and science, for people to do art and creative activities that just feel right to them. And that's a lot of what exploration happens in the makerspace. It often leads to really awesome things.
One other thing too, we do have a new member orientation. So when you sign up, we have a presentation that we walk you through so that you can understand kind of our processes, our procedures, our general culture, who we are, what we do, all the things that we're participating in. And that's a great kickstart to joining the space.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let's go downstairs.
Where it's cooler. Come on down. What you know what we need to do?
What do we need to do? We need to sing the Decatur Makers theme song on 3, 2.
The Decatur Makers theme song.
The Decatur Makers theme song.
That's it. That's exactly what I was imagining.
Well done. I like the acapella. Where do you want to, I got to go get my my handy dandy app so that we can randomize a pick.
Yeah, we got to give away the table saw.
We got to give away the table
the lathe.
saw. Yeah, oh, yes, the lathe. All right, hold on.
Is this it? Is it happening?
It's happening.
Oh my God. Oh man, this is exciting.
This lathe is going out of the space.
It is going out of the space.
What brand lathe is that? I can't see.
It is a danger brand.
Ganker.
Ohio Forge?
Oh, Danger. Man,
Danger.
they make everything in this space. Every single thing we have says Danger on it.
Excellent.
Oh, drum roll, please.
Hold on. I'm gonna get up my list of folks who are.
Decatur Makers, where you can get a free wood lathe in the next 10 seconds if you act quickly.
All right, let's see. We've got 8 people.
9.
No, he has said, oh, drum roll. Oh, shit.
I can't hear the
I can't
drum
get
roll.
it to work. It's not making.
He's taking his drum off. We only have 8. All right, hold on. All right, we've got 8. We're gonna randomize number 3. 1, 2, 3. JT Baker.
JT.
All right, JT.
Yes.
He's our winner.
Well done.
Come and get it now.
Yeah,
Exactly. Exactly.
2 weeks.
All right. We'll let him know. JT, you're not here, but we'll reach out to you soon.
All right, folks. Are there any other questions? Everybody's good? We have sewing machines. We have wood cutting machines. We have electronics. We have people who print their own circuit boards. We've got, really, I'll echo what Erm said. We've got an amazing community. It's really not about the tools as much as it is about the people. The people here are warm and welcoming. The people here are brilliant and funny, and that's just Erm.
Thanks, Lou. And if you want to sign up for Decatur Makers and join this great community, decaturmakers.org.
There you go.
All right.
And you know what? We're still a community. Through all of this stuff, we're still getting together. We're still helping each other. We're on Slack. We're on social media. We're on the Facebook, the Insta, the Twitter, all that stuff. And we're doing live meetings throughout. So I'm going to be live on Zoom at 7 p.m. for the rest of this month and maybe beyond. So come on out and join us, and everybody else who's going to be presenting online.
Absolutely.
Check us out on meetup.com. Meetup.com.
All right, folks.
Well, thanks, Lou, for giving us your awesome tour.
Thank you, Erm, and thank you, Sherry, for showing up and being everybody give Sherry a hand.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad you came.
Thanks, Sherry.
Nice work.
No, I'm just way too excited.
We're excited
We
to have
are
you here.
too. We are too, for sure.
All right.
All right,
well,
guys, so,
I guess we'll sign off.
Yeah, everyone check us out, meetup.com. We got some more online stuff coming up this weekend next. We'll be rolling out more as we go.
All right. Bye, everybody.
See ya.